So, stock-ish, red, black, hollowed one. There's one Grafted Wargear, which we've played before. It's kind of cute, but it's fine. It's good with Bloodghast and Flamewake Phoenix. We've got a small green splash, which is not atypical in hollowed one. We've got an Assassin's Trophy in the main of the board, then some Ancient Grudges as well. So let's dive into a league and see how it goes. Dougie Adams, thank you for the 5-month resub. I appreciate that at the tier 2 level. Welcome back. Be sure to drop me a message in private and let me know which deck card that's already in the queue that you'd like to bump up this month. As always, my tier 2 subs support me a little bit extra, so they get a little bit extra back in return. I don't know that I'm a fan of Blood Moon in the sideboard of this deck. I feel like the types of deck Blood Moon is good against, this deck's already pretty reasonable against. I do like Ritual of Soot in the board. I think this card is really powerful in this archetype. Basically plagued one of the matches where you want it. Snapcaster C, thanks for the Bezo bucks. I appreciate that. Thanks for shipping me your Prime this month. Man, the 0000 pair up, it really does exist. Sure. God. Not playing this deck to mulligan hands that look like this. Turn 2, spin the wheel, hopefully keep our hollow boy. There's 2 reasons people ask for timeouts. The first is to make fun of people who get really upset when they get timed out for not following the stream rules, because there are literally people who act like their human rights have been violated because they were timed out on a Twitch stream. And I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm really not. The second is that one of the reasons why Twitch is awesome is because it's interactive, right? And like normally on most streams, you have to like donate money or something like that to have someone recognize you. But here on this stream, we give out timeouts for free. And timeouts means we time people out because we care. Do I like Arena or MTGO more as a platform? Arena, and it's not particularly close. Arena is the Magic video game I've always wanted. It's very, very good. So we kept our hollowed one. We've been to Flamewake Phoenix. Ideally, we would have liked to been the Bloodghast too, but let's not be greedy here. I love when people talk about their First Amendment rights. It's just like the people who talk about their First Amendment rights being infringed upon so often, they often have no idea what the First Amendment entitles them to. It's like, get informed, idiot. Yep. Explain why you have Ritual instead of Anger. I have a very easy way to explain this. Last night was sweet, Holy Flab, I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, I'm gonna escalate this. Let's just drain them. We're an aggro deck, right? Bin this Bloodghast is pretty free. Lightning Bolt, Maelstrom Pulse, some other goodies. I'm gonna take the Pulse, that way if we draw another large threat, we can keep it here. Oh no, not again. Gifted a tier 1 sub to First Amendment. So this Bloodstained Mire needs to fetch our second Stomping Ground here so we can cast this trophy that we drew. Wow. Deal. Last Hope is rude. Although I guess I just do this, right? So like grab Stomping Ground. And then I get to bolt this one. And then kill this one in combat. Oh, actually, I probably just want to kill this one, right? Just pass the turn here. I think Arena will be more than just Standard and Limited. Yeah. Yeah, as Magic Arena adds more sets and things rotate out of Standard, they're going to add a new constructed format to Magic Arena. Why do we need to go to game 2? I'm confused. I feel like we're actually in a pretty okay spot here. Like, if we had a Delve threat, we're arguably ahead at the moment. They said they're adding back in Kaladesh cards. Do you have a source on that one? Because I've not seen that written down anywhere. So their last card is Lightning Bolt. I feel like they're just going to bolt this, right? Wow, okay. I'm just going to go ahead and mill 3 cards here. I'm going to have to discard this to Liliana anyways. I think, I gain a benefit from, like, putting Flamewake Phoenixes or other things like that in my bin. We bin Gurmag Angler, which feels bad. They actually kept their Lightning Bolt. They discarded Verdant Bloodbraid Scavenging Ooze there. So, top deck wars often favor Jund. That being said, like, any Delve threat here, and this build has cut the 4th Delve creature basically for Grafted Wargear or a trophy or something. So, like, the lack of a 4th, my opponent definitely should have Brutality, one of my lands there. Alright, so now we are incredibly far ahead. And this is why I think only having 3 Delve threats is probably wrong. Just like, Delve threats are often just your best draw. Morning Mage. Alright, so against Jund. Honestly, this is probably a Ritual of Soot matchup. Fatal Push seems fine too. Trophy could also be okay. Collective Brutality is pretty bad. Is trimming Flameblade Adept nuts? I feel like it's not. Yeah, Blood Moon could be okay. Steal some games with that. Sure, let's do it. What do I think about Monastery Mentor and Martyr Pyromancer? I think it's just too slow and clunky. Yeah, good thing we went to game 2, right? That was weird. We drew one of the 2 best cards in our deck and then we won. Strange. Yeah, like their lightning bolts and fatal pushes become like pretty embarrassing if I board out a Flameblade Adept, right? What decks is Fear used against? Storm, Tron, Ad Nauseam, stuff like that. Big mana decks that have lands that produce Amulet Titan. It's like the Smorgasbord of hate cards. KCI, yep. Just covers a lot of bases that you care about while playing Modern. That last hand just didn't do anything. This hand's pretty good. We're gonna get Thoughtseize and lose our Gurmag Angler and wish we had more Delve Threats in our deck, but the rest of it's fine. Are you bummed that there's no new archetypes for standard at the PT? Nope. In fact, I'm really excited that this standard format is pretty stabilized and still good. It's been a while since we've had a format like this, and this format is going to serve as like my recent marker in the sand for when people talk about what makes good formats, because there's this idea among Magic players that I've experienced from interacting with people where people think that a solved Magic format has to be a bad Magic format, and I just really think that couldn't be further from the truth. I think this idea that if we know all the decks that are good, then the format has to be bad is nonsense. The most important thing about determining if a format is good is the quality of the gameplay present in it. So this standard format has a good variety and quality of gameplay, so thus it's a good format. What do you think is more degenerate, Faithless Looting or Ancient Storings? Definitely Faithless Looting. I think they should both go away, but definitely Faithless Looting. Blood Moon getting set up to be thoroughly embarrassing here. When do you think was the last genuinely good standard format? The format before Cons and Fate Reforged rotated out. Whatever that set was. Yeah, Faithless Looting would be borderline unplayable if it didn't have flashback. So I think I'm supposed to just Gurmag here, because if I Blood Moon them, there's a good chance they just cycle the Spellbomb next turn, and then I'm not going to be able to cast this. This gives them another chance to have a fetch land into a basic, but I think it's correct to just jam this here. If they hit like Black Source, it gives them a chance to play a discard spell and take my Blood Moon too, which also feels bad. But I think this is the correct play. Yeah, I think Faithless Looting would be playable as red Careful Study, but it wouldn't be the busted card that is, right? Like Dredge would be much worse. Mardu Pyromancer would be much worse, etc. You could have bolted the Goyf and then delved your yard. That's a good suggestion and a good catch. They also, however, could have nuked my yard in response there, which was a real possibility. Although I guess that means the Goyf still dies, right? So maybe that's a fine exchange for me. Looking for artifacts and delve threats. Alright, well that ended up poorly for us. I could never play this deck at a tournament. It's very emotionally taxing. It's obviously very good and good players can do well with it, but like having your match results depend on the outcome of discarding 3 cards at random is just like a miserable gameplay experience. Top 3 decks I would take to a tournament. Green, Black, Elves, Amulet, Titan, and then something else that's aggressive and degenerate. I don't have a good third one offhand. Probably Tron. Probably Tron. Let's go with Tron. The Elves deck ticks the boxes that you want to tick in Modern. It kills people on turn 3 and turn 4. The reason why people hate Tron is very simple. Write down the list of main deckable cards that interact with Tron's game plan in a fair deck. Now, write down the list of main deckable cards that interact with Storm, KCI, and Infect. Now compare those 2 lists to each other and tell me you don't understand why people hate Tron again. The reason why people hate decks like Tron and Valakut so much more than the others, because the axes of interaction with lands in Modern are very, very difficult in relation to the axes of interaction with literally anything else. Another reason people hate Tron is the primary form of disruption in this format is discard spells for fair-based Magic decks, and discard spells are very bad against Tron because their deck has a plethora of cantrips in it. Yeah, I think that deck definitely survives Stirring's banning. I think you just play a mixture of like Oath of Nissa. You just like play a mixture of like Serum Visions, Oath of Nissas, and Adventurous Impulses. You like your Tron matchup is Green Red Panza. I'm gonna give you a timeout because it's not good enough. Bonds is bad and you should feel bad. Put these towards alarm combo. Thank you, Scholar. I appreciate it. We'll wrap up with that one today then. Oh, do they not have a second land? because when I made them discard cards at random, I made them discard 2 lands. What an interesting and engaging game of Magic the Gathering my opponent and I are playing. The Big Fudge, thank you very much for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Blue-Black Fae didn't recently get 16th. Blue-Black Control that happened to be playing a couple of Spellstutter sprites got 16th. There's a big difference there. Oh, how would you look at that? This is a bad combination. This card just shouldn't be in our deck. I'm glad I have Faithless Looting in my bin to loot past it, but yeah, Blood Moon's pretty bad in this deck. Just sending this so it stops popping up every time I load Twitch. I got you, Deep. Thank you for the silent supporters are the real heroes. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Welcome back. And like for the record, I think this Assassin's Trophy, I think the Assassin's Trophy is pretty okay in this archetype. I think it's the Blood Moon that's some hot nonsense. I also think, again, I think my big takeaway from these games that I'm playing is I keep hoping to draw Delve threats, and there's only 3 of them in this deck list, and that's a pretty big mistake in my opinion. We have Blue-Black Fairies coming up again soon. I actually really like Blue-Black Fairies in Modern. We've played that deck list a number of times. Find my preferred configuration on my website. So it looks like we're probably going to win this game based on the fact that we made our opponent stumble with Burning Inquiry. 5 months of flooping the pig. Shaman Exile, welcome back. I need to hit these weekend morning streams more often. Get a bunch of people that we don't normally see. How we doing, folks? Good evening. Welcome. Good afternoon. Good morning. What time of day is it? I have no idea. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. We play nothing but constructed Magic on this channel. We play a ton of Modern here on Magic Online. We also play some Standard on Magic Arena. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their support. Past subscribing, you can also support my content by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. Love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. And if you use code Hoagland PayPal and check out them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. Are you someone that thinks you always find the best line while you're playing Magic the Gathering? Why don't you put your skills to the test? Head on over to PossibilityStorm.com and find over 80 Magic puzzles there. They do new puzzles every single week, and they do varying difficulties from beginner to expert. CoolStuffInc.com, buy and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, Warhammer, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And you probably hear my shuffling deck going in my hands here. My wonderful shuffling deck is protected by my BCW Elite Guard sleeves. Using code Jeff10 at BCWSupplies.com, you can save 10% on your orders of sleeves, deck box, and all sorts of other great stuff there with them. At any rate, we are, is that 1-0? 1-1? I forget what our record is. I think we're 1-0. We're 1-0 with red-black hollowed folks here, so waiting on the next match to pop. What are my thoughts on Legos? I mean, my children love Legos. I'm looking forward to when Christy and I finding eventually moving that the kids will have a more dedicated playroom. Right now, their toys are just like all over our family room. And the houses we're looking at are a little bit bigger than this one, so they'll have dedicated space to like keep Legos and stuff in. Am I going to play Artifact? Yeah, I have an Artifact beta key. So we'll play a little bit of it on stream. My expectations are pretty low though. They look to be leveraging, they announced their structure for play today, and they're basically just copying the Magic Online model of just like online gambling. You have to pay for all your matches for prizes, which is, you know, I guess they want to rake all the money they can out of people. AGI had commented, what would I replace the Blood Moons with the sideboard? The answer to that question is, what do you want this slot to do? Do you want this slot against decks like Jund and Blue-White Control? Or do you want this slot against decks like Tron and Valakut Titan. If you want it for big mana decks, you should probably play Alpine Moon. If you want it for not big mana decks, fair decks, I would figure out something else that could be good there. What's my favorite fair deck in Modern? Does Green Black Elves count as a fair deck? It technically doesn't have a combo finish in it. Yeah, based on, I haven't really interacted with Valve things before, so I don't really know how they work as a company. Capped Rehab, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here this month with that. And the way Valve has handled Artifact so far seems like they're gonna make a lot of mistakes. Like their closed beta has just been a hot mess in terms of like the information that's going in and going out. Man, the gambling mirror match, chat. Who doesn't love the gambling mirror match? My start's better than theirs, though. Well, I guess they haven't had a turn 2 yet, right? Their turn 2 might be similar to ours, but my turn 2 is good here. I lost my Hallowed folks, but I get to... Oh, that's awkward. I have to delve this Flamewake. I guess I'm not going to delve the Flamewake, and I'm just going to pay an extra mana. Okay, so my turn 2 is not quite as good as I thought it was going to be, but this is still fine. I needed... Oh, they discarded my fetch land. Yeah, I was expecting to get to fetch on 2. So if I would have gotten to fetch... Maybe I should have fetched on 1. If I would have fetched on 1, I'd have had 1 more card in my graveyard here, and then I would have been able to Gurmag plus bring back Flamewake. So Artifact is having their first tournament today that's being cast with full coverage. I think it starts in 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. And they posted an FAQ for it, and the way their play is going to be structured, there's not going to be a competitive ladder that you can play matches on for free. You're going to have to pay like $5 to play a gauntlet, like you pay money to play Magic Online leagues. Owl Knight, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Yeah, so like, there's a lot of people who very incorrectly say this deck has a lot of variance in it. This deck is probably one of the most consistent decks in Modern. This deck has the Hearthstone effect, which is because the word random is printed on cards that we're playing, people automatically assume that that means the game has a lot of variance in it, when it really just couldn't be further from the truth. This deck's incredibly consistent because it sees a lot of cards in its deck every single game. It does the same game plan basically every game. So I'm gonna go ahead and floop the Phoenix into play here. I think I'm just gonna full smash. If they want to eat my Bloodghast, that's fine. Yeah, I'll leave Bloodghast back. So attack for 7 here. They might double block, so we effectively trade Gurmag for Tasigur here, but I think that's okay with me. We'll play Flameblade Adept post-combat, and then next turn, hopefully, we'll Goblin Lore, ditch Flamewake Phoenix, Bloodghast, draw a land, bring Flamewake back with my Flameblade Adept. So, as somebody who just wants to play games and not have my video game be online gambling, the idea of their doing... One of the best things about Arena is the fact that there's a ladder instead of how Magic Online is structured. Magic Online and how Artifact's going to structure their things for play are effectively online gambling and systems where you can cash things out. I just want to play games and learn stuff without having to like incinerate money is basically what it comes down to. Like, I play my games for fun. I don't need to like eke out all this value from these gauntlets, right? Arena provides the best of both worlds. Arena can provide a reasonable casual Magic experience, but also provides you a great way to play Magic in a meaningful way without gambling money every time you want to do it. So we're in a pretty good spot here. I'm really kind of surprised they chump blocked instead of trading their Tasigur for my Gurmag. Yeah, their whole info set has definitely been bad. Thoughts on UMA? I don't really have any thoughts on UMA. I don't own Magic cards, so like things like UMA don't affect me. If you're someone who thinks UMA costs too much money, you should just not buy packs. Am I supposed to shock this in? I think I'm supposed to shock this in so I guarantee to have my land. All right, we ditched the Phoenix here, which gives us an attack for 11 here. I think I'm supposed to leave back Gurmag Angler here, because like attacking for 6 here, and like next turn I have Assassin's Trophy to push through their blocker. So I think that's fine for me. I have a very small number of Magic cards. Like, my shuffling deck here is Magic cards. It's a casual red-green madness deck from when I was a teenager. And I have a couple of cards that are framed, but none of them are worth very much money. Thanks, Owl Knight. Thanks for being here. Glad you enjoy the content. What cards do I have framed? Spellstutter Sprite, Glissa the Traitor, a Masterpiece Painter Servant, and I have Kiki Jiki Resto and a Chord that I haven't framed yet. I need to do that though. Yeah, I have my Altered Birds. So next turn, I can Faithless Looting, ditch the Bloodghast. They're low enough that it'll have haste. If I hit a land to bring the Bloodghast back, I can trophy the Tasigur and then attack for 8 plus the Gurmag Angler. They'll chump the Gurmag Angler and still die. No, I just think the Masterpiece Painter Servant is just a beautiful Magic card. One of my subs sent me a full art print of it. I mean in like a picture frame. They're upstairs in my bedroom. When I get my office set up at the new house, we'll probably put some of my frame stuff up behind me. But I'm just like not doing more stuff here because we're gonna be moving in the next 2 to 3 months. So I don't want to like put more stuff up on the walls that I'm gonna have to like take down and patch up. Well, so part of the issue, Genesis, is that because Arena is brand new, like when they reset it, all the people who had cards were immediately thrown right into the pit. And to be fair, 1, it's beta software, and 2, one of the things they're working on with the software is deck strength based matchmaking, which will eliminate some of that feel bad. A hybrid of MTGO and Arena would be something similar to what Hex was, where there's a free-to-play ladder, but you also have gauntlets for some formats. Have you heard about my bird? I said a bird's a word. I said a bird. I would be incredibly surprised if Artifact ever added a way for you to trade cards directly with other people not using their marketplace. Adding a way to trade cards directly with other people opens up people the ability to create MTGO traders like websites, which takes profit away from Valve. By forcing everybody to use the marketplace, they get a cut of every transaction. Why BCW sleeves over other sleeves like Dragon Shield? Well, the quality of BCW sleeves is very comparable in terms of how durable they are in my experience. I actually split the corners on Dragon Shield mats. I don't split the corners on these, and they're a good price. So they're $6.50 for 80 BCW Elite Guard sleeves. Yeah, they can be traded on the Steam Marketplace. So the Steam Marketplace is where you can trade cards to start. They haven't announced official support for any other ways to trade cards. And I advertise BCW sleeves because they give me money. In their FAQ, they announced yesterday that the only way to trade cards when Artifact initially releases will be through the Steam Marketplace. I want Leyline in the mirror, right? Probably just do this. Let's do that. There are some kind of birds or something calling outside my house. This hand's close. Usually close hands with no no Leyline or Faithless Looting are a mulligan. I haven't used BCW sleeves with perfect fits personally. I don't usually perfect fit my decks. I don't like how they shuffle. BCW sleeves are the same height as things like Ultra Pro though, so those fit perfect fits just fine. BCW also has their own perfect fits that they sell, so I'd assume their products work together. I think this is a mulligan. Seems very good. I really, really hope that Artifact could kill itself before it starts if they don't aggressively stop finance nonsense from happening. So, you know, people... what they define as finance nonsense is another thing that's going to be important for the game, right? Like, is Valve okay with rare cards costing $25? Like, we don't know. I'm going to bottom this because I basically want to just find a hollowed one or a delve threat ASAP. So I was going to cycle Street Wraith on one, but then I drew Flameblade Adept, so let's do that. My opponent mulliganed to 4 and kept a no-lander, so probably going to have an easy one here. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, Ryomex. If they're pretty hands-off with the economy, that was one of the big problems with Hex TCG. Hex TCG was a great game, but it was hard to get people into because it was really expensive. They didn't manage their economy, and it priced people out of playing the game that would otherwise really love to play the game. Yeah, the Flameblade Adept makes this hand pretty fantastic. Thoughtseize, that's interesting. I guess, is Street Wraith their best take here? It might be take Street Wraith. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, one of the best things about Arena 2, in addition to not having to online gamble to play matches, is the fact that it's devoid from finance nonsense is great. So you want a Street Wraith before you Faithless Looting, because we want to give ourselves the most possible chances to find things I want to discard. Although I already found another Bloodghast, so... This hand is silly. Alright, so we're gonna crack them for 7 and just like have 5 power left in play on turn 2. Welcome to Modern, enjoy your stay. Please give me a hollowed one to cast this turn just for the perfects. Gosh, we're so incredibly unlucky, chat. Didn't draw a hollowed one. Just the stone cold worst. Yeah, I agree, Dwight. Hex had a lot of issues that weren't the game, that weren't the gameplay itself. And based on the feedback I've heard from other people so far, it sounds like Artifact might be the inverse. Artifact looks like they're going to get a lot of the technology right, but I'm worried about how... Yeah. Yeah, nice. Nice deck. All right. All right, turn 3, kill you. Are we done here? I actually kill them 2 different ways here. Faithless Looting is lethal. Flamewake Phoenix is lethal. This can't block. What an interesting and engaging game of Magic the Gathering my opponent and I have played. His deck's very good. Yuza wasn't 14-1 at the Grand Prix with this deck by mistake. It dumpsters people, and it's very consistent at what it does because it sees so many cards every game. As always, if you're new, there should be a deck list on your screen via the Stream Decker widget. You can also type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list directly. For easy import, export, all that jazz. So, this deck actually has a lot of sequencing decisions to it. So, when people tell me that they like can't win games with it, honestly, it doesn't surprise me in some cases. Like, there are a lot of really micro decisions in a deck like this, and there's so many both 1-mana spells and basically free spells that you need to sequence through between Hollowed One and Bloodghast that, while you do need a little bit of variance to go your way, you need variance to go your way in general in Magic. I think the fact that this deck wasn't well positioned is nonsense, Marty. I think this deck's very good, and just like any proactive deck like this is going to be well positioned in Modern. Did you try other mattresses besides Lisa? I have not used other foam mattresses before. I had a pillow top mattress that I'd purchased before my Lisa mattress. And I slept on, I have a Lisa mattress, and we slept on it for 5 weeks before I added them as a sponsor. I always like to make sure that the things I'm advertising are things that seem good, so I didn't just add them as a sponsor without using their product. This deck plays through Graveyard Hate pretty well, is one of the biggest things that it does. gonna go ahead and escalate this, ditching the Flamewake Phoenix. Maybe spot check for another discard spell, a removal spell. Alright, so unfortunately I can't take Liliana the Veil. The rest of their hand doesn't do a whole lot. I think I'm taking Thought Scour here. I guess Liliana the Veil's not even that good, because I'm going to get to bring Flamewake Phoenix back, which insulates me against her Edict effect. I guess they can Fatal Push the Flamewake Phoenix, though. So maybe I'm supposed to take the Flamewake Phoenix. Or take the Fatal Push, I mean. Leaves me in kind of an awkward spot. I hate nonsense like that. Every time you talk about why a deck is good and you articulate yourself and you explain in great detail why the deck could potentially be too good to be banned, there's always some mouth breather that pops up in chat that's like, but Jeff, there's this one card that's really good against this deck, and because that card's really good against this deck, it's fine, it's not good. You beat it all the time, Jeff. It's just like, well, I believe you that that card is really good against the deck, but what I don't believe is that you understand why this deck is good. I'm just going to go ahead and play Tasigur here. It's going to die to this Liliana the Veil. I'm not delving the extra to bring the Flamewake back again because they can crack the fetch land and Fatal Push the Flamewake and then untap and Edict the Tasigur. And because I have these other delve threats that are potentially going to be stranded in my hand, I'd rather leave extra cards in my graveyard so that way I can put them into play sooner. Yeah, if all your cards line up exactly perfectly, sure. Your deck's probably good against this one. I believe you. He's dead, Jim. Faithless Looting, please. Burning Inquiry, please. That's unfortunate. Awkward. How long did it take for my stream to be able to sustain itself? I've been streaming on Twitch for probably close to 5 years, and I've been partnered for almost 4. I never expected this to be a job. If you start streaming on Twitch with the expectation that it's someday going to be your job, you're probably going to be incredibly disappointed with what happens. Twitch, the ability to turn what happens on what you're doing on Twitch into a job is dependent on a ton of factors, most of which you as a streamer have no control over. Cracking that fetch land is very good for us there. Do they not know that I have a Flamewake in my bin, or do they have another Thoughtseize? It is, as someone who already has an established audience on Twitch, who tried to get into streaming a little bit of Hearthstone earlier this year, it's basically impossible to break into streaming an established game without massive hosts from people who already stream that game. It's just what it comes down to. The reason why my amount of streaming became, something that's successful that eventually became a job had in large part to do with the fact that I had created a small name for myself from my time spent playing on the SCG tour. So if I hadn't had that experience and that small amount of notoriety from people knowing who I was from that, I probably never would have gotten anywhere on Twitch. And then there's other factors that go into it too, right? I work hard, not to undersell the amount of work that I do to get where I've gotten, but I'm also very conscious of the fact that it's not just hard work that got me to where I am today. There's also a bit of right place, right time, other groundwork, stuff like that goes into it. Oh, Rowan. They got a Tarmogoyf that they couldn't cast. Even those two, it's not, you can't just like build social media from nothing though, is the thing though. Like a lot of people who end up having big social media platforms like luck into it from other ways, basically, for lack of a better term. Do I just like bolt them and cast Burning Inquiry here? My average card might also just be better than Bolt. Taking their Tarmogoyf away with Burning Inquiry is pretty appealing. The flip side is the Lightning Bolt technically shaves 2 turns off the clock with the Flamewake Phoenix attacking in the air. So maybe I just want to keep it. I'm just going to hang tight for a second. Grimflayer is in the class of cards with Knight of the Reliquary, in cards that people constantly want to be good enough to play in Modern, so they keep registering in it, but it's actually just hot garbage. Flameblade Adept is a great draw that rewards us for having been patient with this Burning Inquiry. Yeah, I definitely think that's part of it too, Shaman Exile. Like, not limiting the amount of what I would consider to be bad content on my channel, but just like floundering around is definitely helpful in gaining people once you're there. Can I explain why it's not very good? The payoff that you get for cards like Grimflayer and Knight of the Reliquary isn't particularly fantastic in relation to the mana cost that you're investing into it. Shock you. Ritual of Soot sounds good. Trophy plus Fatal Push sounds good. Blood Moon sounds good against the Sultai deck. Nah, I'm just not going to board it in because I'd rather have Assassin's Trophy. This just shouldn't be in the board. Explosives is fine here. These bolts probably aren't good enough. I think I'd rather just have things that like hard kill their threats. Let's do this. I don't think Leyline of the Void is good enough here. I think I don't care about their copies of Traverse that much. If it's consistently a 4/4 trample for 2, is that not a fair deal? It's not consistently a 4/4 trample for 2. Traverse the Ulvenwald. Enabling Delirium is something people take for granted in these decks. If you look at the amount of times that Grimflayer is just a 2/2, it's not good enough. I don't think Leyline is good against Tarmogoyf. Like, my deck is putting 5 types of cards in my graveyard, which means their Tarmogoyfs are probably huge regardless. So, boarding in Leyline I think is super incorrect against a Tarmogoyf deck. I think I'd rather just have more cards that impact the board and kill my opponent. Seems pretty good. We gotta bin the right things, but don't we always? What do you think of Savage Knuckleblade? Love the card. It's a shame it's unplayable. I don't think that's true, Bad Tinker. I would ask you to provide me with an example of a matchup where you think one deck should board in Leyline of the Void against just Tarmogoyf, and I can then better explain to you why I think it's not correct. We are 2-0 at the moment, and we are up a game in this third match. So next turn we get to put Bloodghast plus Gurmag Angler into play. Just good clean live in. Sure. You got me. So there's still 4 cards in my graveyard, so this fetch land will be a 5th, and then I can cast Gurmag Angler. We could be in a little bit of trouble if my opponent is Leyline in the Veil on 3 on the play, but definitely just like not here to not slam the big fish. I agree, Big Kitty fan. People wanna be mopey and play sweet things. The actual answer is that Modern's just not a format that's kind to you being mopey. So if they have a Leyline in the Veil here, pretty likely just going to get buried by it, depending on how good these Goblin Lores are, but just comes with the territory. Yep. Pretty fortunate for them. That's how it goes sometimes. Magic's a game that's easier when you have good fortune. I mean, if we hit like a Flamewake Phoenix plus a hollowed 1 or 2 here, we could be in a very good spot. So like if these Goblin Lores treat us well, we like have Ritual of Soot to like get back in the game too. Has Ritual of Soot replaced Languish and Dex that will want it instead of Damage? It depends on the deck, Master Chief. So for instance, Ritual of Soot is much worse than Languish in Black-Green Rock, because in Black-Green Rock, it would kill your Tarmogoyfs and your Tireless Trackers, whereas Languish doesn't kill those cards. So basically, it depends on the deck that you're playing, and it depends on what decks you want the sweeper against. Hey, there's a Flamewake Phoenix. All right, let's discard that and keep a hollowed 1 or 2. Discarded my other lore, kept a bunch of lands. Yeah, I do daytime streams, a minimum of several times per week. My Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday streams are all about this time period. Anybody know what round the Pro Tour's in? I'm trying to figure out if I'm gonna have time for another league after this one. Second round of draft. Going into the third. Okay, this might be my last league then. I might not get to a third today. Yeah, it's probably better to just cast the Phoenix. I agree. I'm going to be completely honest. Phoenix is one of those cards that doesn't have a casting cost in my head. Google Red Black Hollowed One, Gris. Or go to my website and click Modern Decks Proven and Red Black Hollowed One to get a brief description there. Yeah, I'm gonna host the Magic channel when I'm done again today, so people can use this chat to do stuff. How did Elves go? Very good. That deck is sweet. Awkward. So they obviously have a removal spell as their last card, right? right? They didn't discard it. They didn't play a threat. Has to be a removal spell. I think the play to win line is cast my Hollowed One. Perfect. Maybe I should have played the Blackcleave Cliffs there. Good chance that that's the case. Snap trade here, Hollowed One for there's some kind of 4-drop here. Just Tarmogoyf, sure. Just gonna go ahead and fetch this out because I'm pretty sure I have to cast Ritual of Soot next turn. Just like hit them for 3 and then Soot. Again, just like in this spot where all I want to do is draw Delve threats. I just like don't have that many Delve threats in my deck. I'm really sad that the Ritual of Soot didn't shoot out Black Rays and explode on all of the creatures. It did in my head, right? What's going on, Tarantula Sloth? Thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of having 5 mana here. What do you think about push over brutality, main and use a list? I think it makes a lot of sense. Just like having quality removal is fine. This is my 3-4. My 3-4 is amazing. Sure. So they've cast 2 Surgicals and a Nihil Spellbomb this game. 2 Nihil Spellbombs. It is in fact unblockable. That's the truth. I'm excited to discard 3 spells here. Alright, we actually binned 3 lands. That's pretty good. Discarded land, double Flameblade Adept, kept 2 lands. Emotionally taxing, chat. That is how I would describe this deck. In a different world, we cast double Flameblade Adept that turn, untap and kill them the following turn. And remember, when things like that happen to you, if you're playing this deck, you chose this. You did it to yourself. Have but one person to blame. Blue-black pirates. Or Sultai card, one of the two. My Ritual of Soot's already gone, so I assume we're dead here. Fuck it, let's cheese them. Get some string cheese up in here, chat. How do you like your cheese? How do you like your cheese? EE would have saved us. Okay. Yeah, good call. Oh, let's sit down for a bit, shall we? Enjoy the ride. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this fair and balanced Magic the Gathering hand. Can y'all believe that there was a point in time when Wild Nacatl was banned in Modern? Is that's crazy, right? Like there was an actual point in time where some people, multiple people at Wizards of the Coast were like, you know what card's too strong? Wild Nacatl's too strong. They took Burning Inquiry. I didn't even want to cast that card. Oh, I got you. I got you, fam. All right, Gurmag Angler, please. All right, we're dead. Got it. It was a good run, chat. We tried our hardest. We played well. Had a lot of back and forth. You know, just Modern things. Doing this here today. I am not, Bushi. I might do one more Modern League. Nah, this is probably gonna be my last one. I'm a liar. This is gonna be the last one. We still got 2 more matches in this one. These leagues ran long. So very close. Man, if we'd have been able to play that this turn, we'd have destroyed them. 1 card off there. Nile Spellbomb was very good. This is it for the day, Marty. I think I'm going to do some Standard tomorrow. Zerthy, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. So, Liliana the Veil is the card we're looking to dodge here. Aces with the $5 tip. Thank you, I appreciate it. 1 more league. Let me message the boss. What's going on, J-Mac? Charmagoofy's a pretty big boy at the moment. So I can shrink him to a 4/5. Looking to draw a Fatal Push here. And delve the Street Wraith because it's the only creature in graveyards at the moment. I can't shrink him past 4/5. AGH. They have 4 card types. Snapping Traverse here. Seems good. No, I think I'd rather be able to hardcast the Hollowed One with a land next turn. Ritual of Soot is lethal here. Engineered Explosives also lethal. Yeah, I agree with that assessment, Nick. Bin some birds. Bin some birds. My bird's exiled. My Faithless Lootings are exiled. Flameblade Adept and a bunch of stuff. Didn't get to take the other Tarmogoyf out of their hand. Feels bad, man. So he has to lose Goyf. I'm just gonna time people out who are wrong and not specific. Holding this in my hand in case I draw a Goblin Lore or another Burning Inquiry. Yeah, I like the Contigo bottles. They're nice, like I'm a small child with a sippy cup. Although that one spilled out a little bit there. Sultai disappointment. Why don't our opponents draw like this when we play Sultai? To be fair, the Sultai control deck that we've played a good bit with is pretty reasonable. We've 4-1'd and 3-2'd with that deck 3 or 4 times now. I think 3 times. Or 2-1 here with weaponized variants. I think that's just like the most apt description of this deck ever. Just weaponized variants. Are we playing on a solid one as opposed to dishonest solid one? Seems very good. You get 3 shots to find a hollowed boy. Where are my hollowed boys and girls at? Has Arena affected MTGO card prices? Modern and Legacy prices are down on Magic Online, but that's pretty normal when a rotation happens and Standard is good. Maybe I'm supposed to lead on Fetch Land there. Gosh, I am just the smartest, thinnest Magic the Gathering player there ever was, chat. They will sing odes to my smart and thinness. Nothing but professionalism here. It's not a fairies deck, it's just a control deck that had Bitter Blossom. I will not be playing Arena today. This is gonna be my last league this morning. Christy said she's not feeling well, so I'm gonna give her a hand with the kids. What? What is this bullshit? What? What is this? What is this? Judge, I would like for you to deck check my opponent, please. Please deck check my opponent. Because I have been wronged. Lucatog, thanks for the 9-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Our hand's still like really good, right? Like our hand is still like patently absurd. We have 4 less power on turn 2 than we could have had, and we still are gonna attack them for 8 next turn. Like, sure. This seems like a productive use of your turn. This seems like a productive use of your turn. So I crack this fetch land and I play Gurmag Angler next turn. I know you were kidding about the judge, but would you honestly be surprised if MTGO started sideboard cards in main deck? Let's be honest. Nothing would surprise me. Alright. Do something else irrelevant and let me kill you with Collective Brutality. They could like take our Brutality here and then like have Ensnaring Bridge next turn. If they have Bridge on 4, we could be locked out. Oh, I guess they could go like double Affliction next turn, huh? And kill us. I guess I should have gotten a basic there. Getting a basic played around rack into rack, basically. I could be too higher. Oh, I could have tried to hit a Phoenix. It's a good suggestion. Emotionally taxing, chat. Emotionally taxing. If I play a card from my handout, the Shrieking Affliction kills me next turn. I hope everybody was stimulated. I was Twitch chat. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be our last league. I know when my mood is going to sour. And we're definitely heading in that direction. Yeah, the turn 1 bog ended up being enough. It cut enough power off our side of the table that we weren't able to win. Did E end up getting in? It did. So I know I want that land, but I want Flameblade Adept in play more. Okay. Okay. My sequencing here is like a touch sloppy, but that's fine. I get punished if they have like Dismember for my sequencing here. That turn could have been a little bit better if we would have binned, like if we would have binned this Flamewake instead of the second hollowed one. Like we just have 13 power in play right now. Just the swings on this deck are so huge. Just like what it looks like from one turn to another, depending on how your inquiries break. Deal. Thanks for the discount. Thanks for the discount and the 2 free points. Modern is the format where there are 50 playable decks and everybody hates all of them. Are we really in a position to complain about our opponent playing 8-rack when I'm sitting here casting the magic card Hollowed One? Like, am I really, do I really come from a position of moral high ground when I'm putting Hollowed Ones into play? It's like when the Storm player salts off that you comboed them. It's like, you're playing Storm, you sit down, you shut up, and you take your licks, because all you do is hand out licks. Thanks, I guess. Thanks. 8-rack players, lol. I got a bunch of green cards, so I'm gonna go ahead and get Stomping Ground here. I have way more black sources than green sources, so I want to prioritize getting that first. Give Poppy a Hollow Boy. Alright, I got one more shot here. Poppy needs a Hollow Boy, chat. Poppy! Would settle for a land. Deal. Land is a decent consolation prize. They put us on the play game 1, and then we dumpstered them, so... Sure. I don't care about that yet, so we'll hang tight for a second. Flameblade Adept's a good rep, so let's do that. I'm gonna hang tight on the... I'm gonna hang tight on the Goblin Lore for a second. Because, again, my sequencing is sloppy. I should attack for 2 here before I do anything. If they have a Fatal Push, they, like, might Fatal Push the Bloodghast. I did not give my opponent a chance to make a potential mistake, and technically I should have. By playing the Flameblade Adept before the Goblin Lore, I effectively add 3 points of damage to my Goblin Lore. I also have this Flamewake Phoenix in my graveyard, which if I Goblin Lore into a red source next turn, I'm going to be able to bring the Flamewake back into play with the Flameblade Adept having 4 points of power. Wrench Mind. Sure. I'm just gonna flashback Grudge on this rack since I have 2 of them. Just keep my health total high, use my mana for the turn. Want to keep a red source here so I can bring my bird back. Alright, can't really complain too much here. I mean, I could complain because I'm a Magic player, but I'm not going to. What I mean is, I could always complain because I play Magic the Gathering, but instead I'm just going to put my free 4/4 into play and attack. And then they're dead next turn, right? Like, I Faithless Looting, and then I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're really close to dead next turn. Oh no! Oh no, chat! What if they edict me? What if they edict me, chat? We have draws that are lethal here. I'm gonna bin Assassin's Trophy here. Would like to dig for a land with my my Faithless Looting. Or another thing that lets me discard cards to get my Flameblade Adept to lethal. Burning Inquiry is lethal here. Second Phoenix is lethal, right? Yeah. Good clean living. You ready to smash, Jet? You ready to smash? Kill you. Oh, attack you. Put a hat on it. What's going on, Roke? Get us right at the tail end. We're gonna play one more match with the Hollowed Boys here, and then we wrap things up. Yeah, so feedback on this specific list, we'll do a wrap-up segment at the end as always. The Blood Moons are hot nonsense, especially alongside Assassin's Trophy. And I think there should be a 4th Delve threat in the main deck. You just want that, oomph value. Everybody get your 3/2s ready. Right, should we even play the last one? Another month gone, more loot for pirates, please. Sounds good, punt count, will do. Thanks for the support. We're gonna play Pirates a couple times this next week. I'm gonna be dumping all my dealer's choices into that, I think. I'm gonna be playing that at the Grand Prix. This deck's very good. Like I said, it wasn't by mistake that Yuza top 8'd. Top 8 of the tournament. Yeah, another fish probably is the last Delve threat. The stock list for this play 4 Delve threats, 3 fish and a Tasigur. Seems fine. Good luck, Recon. Sure, but this is a deck that allows you to leverage your skill while playing Magic the Gathering nicely. It has a lot of micro decisions. Contrary to what some people like to complain about it being all variants, there are a lot of micro decisions. Opponent, nice enough to let us know that they're playing Blue-Red Wizards. I think this matchup's hard for Wizards. I don't know. It depends on if they have, if they're on Soulscar Mages, if they're on Soulscar Mages and main deck of Braids, they probably have a pretty good shot. Our hand's actually not great against Wizards. It's definitely a keep, but like having a bunch of threats that die to Lightning Bolts is not good. We literally have never drawn Grafted Wargear. I think Grafted Wargear is fine in general. It's a card that makes your recursive threats a lot more powerful, even though it's not a threat on its own. We've played in the past, it's okay. It's probably too cute, it should probably just be the 4th health threat. And there's the Soulscar Mage before mentioned. Opt is good for us here. That means they could be potentially not have a lot going on. If they don't have removal spells, the Flameblade Adepts are going to kill them very, very quickly. Rats, they have a play. Poor Flameblade Adept, hardly knew ya. RTFC means read the freaking card. Alright, so I'm going to start with Faithless Looting here. Looking for a way to kill this Grim Lavamancer. So I think I want to just fetch basics here. Opponent's basically a glorified burn deck, so want to keep our health total high. I'm just going to cast my spells pre-combat because they're tapped out and can't block, so just get my F6 value. Next turn I can go Tasigur into a couple of Burning Inquiries, push some damage. They have a removal spell here. We're probably pretty destroyed. Because Grim Boy gets to clean up one of my adepts, and then a removal spell could clean up the other. Yep. It's always like bittersweet when I get dismantled by a deck that I really like playing. It's like, well, on one side of the coin, I would prefer not to be getting dismantled right now. But on the other side of the coin, the opponent's deck is like kind of one of my children. I'm gonna play Tassifish before I Burning Inquiry here. Probably won't even be able to get that back next turn because I just like fueled their thing here. Yeah, we're very dead. Just not gonna be able to erase that. Bring in a bunch of removal basically. Man, what do I cut here? I'm gonna trim the Bloodghast because... No, I'm gonna trim the Flameblade Adepts because they die to everything. I think that's the plan. All right, this is gonna be my last match of the afternoon. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it. I guess it's technically still morning, almost afternoon. After I'm done streaming, I'm going to host the Pro Tour on this channel. So if you'd like a place to discuss what's going on in the Pro Tour, you're welcome to stay in chat and hang out with other people. I'll be in and out of my own chat all day. As I watch the PT, I'm gonna be home with the kids, but I'll be watching the event too for sure. This is definitely a keep. Why is Wargear run? Why shouldn't Wargear be run? Instead of me justifying the choices in this deck list to you, why don't you form a structured, logical argument about why it's bad? Didn't get to discard my bird, but I can Faithless Looting it into the bin next turn. Jeskai Thing went okay. The more I play Jeskai Thing, the more I think it's probably just a bad Arclight Phoenix deck. It's a really good start on the play for us here. Much better than our last one. Turn 1 Soulscar Mage is very good, though. You want a Faithless Looting before you play the land, because we could have Bloodghast here. Or we could draw no spells. At least we get to flashback Faithless Looting next turn. I mean, an Arclight Phoenix deck literally top 16 the Grand Prix, so we'll probably start there. There's a copy of the deck from the Grand Prix in the donation queue already. I guess 30 or 40 points or so. I'll get to the top eventually. You would prefer a Brutality over a Wargear right now? Completely disagree. Wargear. I agree that it could probably be another threat, but Wargear is much better than just like a random Doomblade on this board. There's a good chance Collective Brutality doesn't even kill Soulscar Mage here. Probably see him shrink my hollowed one here. Yeah, Soulscar Mage is going to eat us alive, especially with Grim Lavamancer paired alongside it. Need to draw a lot of gas very quickly here. Alright, it's a card that can find us gas. Any amount of removal basically does us in here. Soulscar Mage too strong, please nerf. Oh, that's brutal. Hollow 1/1. Yep. I mean, okay. Want to buy a Fatal Push. I mean, alright. I mean, are we that lucky? This would be much better as a bolt or a push, right? So I guess like kill Soulscar Mage. Or Grim Lavamancer, really. I'm pretty sure we're still behind at the moment. When EE gets Obstructionist, we fall out. I mean, if it gets Obstructionist, we're not getting, they're not activating their other stuff, so that's good for us. Nah, I think we're dead to second Upbraid no matter how we slice it. Like, I've got a 1/1 and 2 Faithless Lootings versus a Mutavault and 3 cards in their hand. They are going to 5, but, like, I'm also at 9, so, like, doesn't bode well for our hero. Yep. No attack there means they have a spell as well. The moto counters are incredibly ugly. Yep. No blocks. Leave a green up because there's an Assassin's Trophy in my deck still. Okay. It's a very good draw. Ugh. Woof. So punished for the way I tapped. Chose to leave up green instead of leaving up double black. I have 2 Phoenixes in my bin at the moment. I'm gonna block here. Any burn spell means I don't get my Phoenixes back because of Soulscar Mage being great. Snap remanded here. Yeah, we're dead. Good games, opponent. We just got manhandled by this Soulscar Mage. See, we shouldn't have bothered playing the 5th match. Should have known better. Pretty stock solid one. A couple of spicy things. I think the Grafted Wargear is probably worse than the 4th Delve threat. I think Blood Moon's some hot nonsense. I think if you want a card for big mana decks, you should just play Alpine Moon. The Assassin Trophies were fine. I don't know that I would call them good, but I would call them acceptable. It's just like what they've been in every modern deck, basically. Like, this is a passable. That's gonna be it for me for today, folks. I will be back. I might be live tomorrow. I need to talk to Christy and see what our plans are. I will definitely be live Monday morning with some more Modern. I'll be back on Tuesday morning with some more Standard on Arena. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch all y'all around later. I'm going to host the Magic channel now, and I will be watching the Pro Tour and in chat in and out. So thanks for watching, folks.